Welcome to the San Bernardino County Community Development Block Grant Construction Application Tutorial for Program Year 2018-2019. The Community Development and Housing Department has implemented a new online application portal which can be accessed at sbc.hdsoftware.net. CDH strongly recommends that each organization create a single user account and designate one person to review and submit applications on behalf of the entire organization. This will streamline the evaluation process. Click the link to create a new account. Once you have entered all of your information, click the Create Account button. This will send you an email with your login credentials. Once you have logged into the system, you will be directed to the online application portal's homepage. To create a new construction application, click the arrow next to Construction Application 2018. Then click on the New Application button. Give your new application a name and click Save. This will take you to the exhibit list for that application. This is a list of all of the information that needs to be provided for this application, but there is no action that is required on this page. There are several features of the online application portal that I'm going to point out. The first is the Save button, which allows you to save all of your work up to that point. 2 clear buttons, a green Clear All button, which will clear the entire application, and a blue Clear button, which will only clear the information on that exhibit. Clicking either of these buttons will give you a pop-up asking if you're sure. This is to make sure you do not accidentally delete all of your work. To navigate around the application, you can use the Previous and Next buttons, or you can click on the application exhibit names at the top. To go back to the home page, click the green Back button. From here, you can select any application to work on by clicking on the dots under the Action tab. You can go back in and edit the application, view a PDF version of the application, change its name, review the submission history or evaluation history, view or add attachments, or submit the application. The copy feature is included so that you can copy your application if you are submitting more than one, and that way you don't have to complete all of the basic information over again. This is especially helpful if you are doing 2 similar applications. Clicking Edit will take us back to that exhibit list, and from there we can choose where we want to go. The organization information is basic information about your organization, who the authorized person in your organization is, and who we should contact if we have any questions about the application. There's also a place to put the information about your agency. Project information is going to be the basic information about the proposed project, whether or not this is a new construction project or you're requesting additional funding for an existing project. Click on the drop-down box and select. If you are requesting funds for for a project that is in process, you'll need to provide the application or the contract number for the prior project. You'll also need to enter some basic information about where the project will be and about the countywide vision. It's not expected that your project will meet every goal underneath the countywide vision. Most projects only meet 1 or 2, which is fine. And then there's a box where you can explain how it meets those goals. Exhibit 3, Project Characteristics, is where we get into more detail about the project and where it will be. You will talk about the area and exactly what is going to be involved. Exhibit 4, we are going to enter who is going to be served by this project. So there's lots of different types of priority needs. A sewer improvement? Is this a drainage improvement? Historic preservation? Whatever your project is, go ahead and click that. And then you'll indicate whether or not this project directly impacts people who are experiencing homeless or those with HIV or AIDS. If you're doing something like a street improvement project, you won't, but if you are proposing to build a public facility that serves people with homelessness, then you would click there. And then underneath, you'll describe why this project is a priority, why there's a need, and why it needs to be done now, who's going to be served by this project, etc. This is where you'll talk about the budget for this project. The left-hand column is the money that you are requesting from CDBG, and the right-hand column is the amounts that you are going to be providing from other sources. If we come down, this is from the drop-down box, you're going to choose the city that you're requesting CDBG monies from and the amount you're requesting. This amount should equal this amount. The other remainder should be shown here on the second part of this page, where you will describe where you're going to get the funding, the amount that should total up to the remainder, and when you expect those funds to be available. Goals and milestones this is the information that we are going to be submitting to HUD so that they can make sure that we are keeping on track with our funding. So you will describe what you're going to do with the money and by when you expect to have reimbursement requests submitted. We do recommend that you withhold a 10% to make sure that we meet our labor compliance issues. So once all of the paperwork and labor compliance is submitted, the last 10% can be released. Exhibit 7 is for nonprofit organizations only. This is where you will describe how your organization has the capacity and the experience to implement this project from start to finish. And you will answer some basic questions about your organization's financial history and whether there have been any findings or audits in the past few years. Exhibit 8 asks about civil rights laws, especially those in relation to the HUD-McKinney Act. If you have had any dealings with those, we ask that you describe it in the box. Exhibit 9 is the e-signature authorization. If you are if you want to do a construction improvement through CDBG, you will need to agree to a series of federal and state and county requirements, as well as an M&O agreement. But HUD has not yet authorized the use of e-signatures. So this form, when the application is completed, will need to be printed out, just this one page, and signed so that we can have a hard copy of an actual original signature on file. So for this one, just fill in your basic agency information, the name and title of the person who is authorized to sign for this organization, and then leave the signature and title and date available blank, so that way when it's printed out, there's space for that person to sign. Because that form is going to be submitted with an actual wet signature, for this one, you can just type in the person's name and that will be accepted as an e-signature. This is the maintenance and operations agreement. When we give money for any kind of construction improvement, there must be some assurance that that project is going to be used for the purpose stated in the application. And since CDBG funds cannot be used for those kind of ongoing maintenance and operations costs, this is where you will verify that you will take those on. This is the maintenance expense budget, where you'll enter the budget for maintaining and operating that project, and how much you think it will cost, and where you expect to get the money to do that. And the revenue total here should equal the amount of your total. For construction projects, you will need to upload attachments, usually site maps, blueprints, reports. To do that, you will click on the blue Add File and then click on whatever you want to upload, hit Open, and it will show up here. You can click here to view the attachment. If you need to remove the attachment, click here and click Delete. If you are a nonprofit organization, you will also need to add all of the documents listed in this as file attachments. Once you get to this portion, you can save and go back to the main home screen. Find the application that you're ready to submit and hit Submit. You'll know that it's worked because it will say Submitted here, and the counter at the top will show your submitted applications. If you need any further information, please feel free to refer to the written instructions for this application available on our website or contact our office. Thanks.